What's the difference between an ordinary artifact and an extraordinary one? Well, an ordinary artifact might offer a glimpse into the lives of those who made it, but a remarkable one can help you view the past in an entirely new light. The clearest way to explain the difference between the two is to show you, and that's exactly what we're going to do in this video. So let's start off with number 15. Martin Behaim Sips Globe. The world is round. That's a fact. No debates needed. While ancient scholars suspected Earth's shape long ago, the idea didn't gain widespread acceptance until the 15th century. In 1492, Martin Behaim of Germany created one of the earliest known globes. He called it the Erdapfel, which means earth apple. Despite its solid appearance, it's made of linen stretched over two hollow hemispheres, reinforced with wood, and painted by Georg Glockenden. The Americas are missing. Columbus hadn't yet returned from his voyage when it was made. The Eurasian continent is way too big, and the sea between Europe and Asia is almost empty. Japan is both misplaced and oversized, and a made-up peninsula east of Malaysia shows how little was known at the time. Still, considering the maps available back then, Behaim's globe wasn't a bad attempt. It captured the best of what 15th century minds could imagine. Crude and inaccurate, yes, but groundbreaking for its time. It's a fragile, lopsided glimpse into a world that hadn't yet been mapped. Number 14. Turtle Shell Rattles of North America. Music has been part of human culture for millennia, though the tools we use to make it have changed. In ancient North America, some indigenous groups tuned turtle shells into musical rattles. It's a practical and symbolic form of reuse. The meat was eaten, and the shells became instruments. Most examples have been recovered from archaeological digs in Tennessee, where they were once mistakenly assumed to be food waste. But the shells often contained drilled holes, showing they were deliberately modified. Some even had leather ties, attaching them to leggings and filled with stone flakes to produce sound while dancing. These were more than noisemakers. They were tied to movement, rhythm, and ceremony. Similar artifacts have been found in Florida, and as far as Canada, whether this points to cultural exchange or independent development is still debated. But the function remains the same: transformation of a natural object into something expressive. What was once armor for a turtle became a heartbeat for human ceremony. Number 13. Buddha's footprint at Wat Phra Phuthabat. If you travel to Saraburi province in Thailand, you'll find a temple known as Wat Phra Phuthabat. Locals simply call it the Temple of the Buddha's Footprint. It's one of only 6 first-class royal temples in Thailand and was founded during the Ayutthaya Kingdom by King Songtham in the early 1600s. Legend says the king was informed by monks that the Buddha had once passed through the region, so he sent out men to locate proof of the visit. What followed was a story wrapped in belief. In 1623, a local hunter saw a wounded deer drinking from a puddle. Moments later, it sprang away fully healed. When the man approached the water, he saw a massive footprint filled with rainwater. He dipped his feet in and his lifelong skin disease vanished. The king was convinced and ordered a temple to be built around it. That footprint remains enshrined to this day, surrounded by layers of faith, myth, and centuries of reverence. Number 12. The Seized Bible in Turkey. Ancient artifacts aren't only sought by museums. Smugglers chase them too. In 2015, police in Tokat intercepted a holy item before it vanished into the black market, a 1000-year-old Bible covered in gold leaf. The pages are inscribed in ancient Assyrian, but what sets it apart are the illustrations, especially the depictions of Christ, who looks strikingly different than those in most Western texts. While the cover has been heavily worn by time, the 10 pages inside remain surprisingly intact. Researchers believe it was made somewhere in Anatolia, though the original creators are unknown. Very few Christian texts from the Dark Ages survive at all, especially not in this condition. Whoever owned this book treated it with care, preserving its pages across a millennium. Its survival isn't just great. It offers rare insight into how Christianity developed during a time of upheaval and fragmentation. Whether used for personal devotion or secret gatherings, the book's contents reflect a version of Christianity that evolved far from the Roman Empire's reach. Number 11. The Kuduru of Melishipakul. Back then, property wasn't signed over with paper, it was carved into stone. The Melishipakul is one such record, created around 3,200 years ago during the Kassite period in Babylon. Covered in detailed engravings, it documents land grants and other royal gifts distributed by various Kassite kings. The most surprising entry concerns the transfer of 4 large agricultural districts, complete with built settlements, from King Melishipek II to a man named Marduk Apla Idna, who is simply called the king's servant. That title has sparked debate. It would be unusual for a servant to receive entire regions of land, so historians believe Marduk Apla Idna may have been a son, nephew, or even a royal favorite. The Kuduru's carvings aren't just bureaucratic, they're also symbolic, invoking gods and curses to legitimize the transfer and protect it from dispute. It's a legal document, religious warning, and political statement all at once. Even now, it's hard to read without sensing the power it once represented. Number 10. Duck-shaped incense shovel from Khirbet el-Ika. In 2015, a long excavation at Khirbet el-Ika near the Sea of Galilee finally delivered what archaeologists were after: a bronze incense shovel about 2,200 years old. The item backs up theories that the settlement began roughly 2,300 years ago and was destroyed within 200 years, only to be resettled later by different communities. The shovel's shape and decoration are unmistakably pagan, with heavy Greco-Roman influence. It may not have been made locally, it could have arrived from Rhodes or the eastern Mediterranean coast. In its time, such an item would have been considered a luxury, likely owned by someone of wealth or status. Some scholars suggest the earliest inhabitants of the site were pacifist Gentiles, wiped out by the Hasmonean dynasty, though more proof is needed to confirm that. Regardless, the duck-shaped shovel gives weight to the idea that this area was more culturally diverse and more affluent than once thought. It wasn't just a rural village, it was a community with links beyond its borders. Number 9. Bronze Age axe in Norway. In 2021, archaeologists found something unexpected near Arendal, Norway: a Bronze Age axe submerged nearly 40 feet underwater. It's the first of its kind ever uncovered in the country. Known as a Celtic axe, this type of weapon dates to the Nordic Bronze Age, which lasted from 1800 BCE to 500 BCE. What has experts especially intrigued is its location. The axe's depth suggests the possible presence of a sunken Bronze Age ship in the area. If confirmed, it would be the first shipwreck of its era ever found in Norwegian waters. However, some researchers have proposed another theory, that the axe drifted there more recently, perhaps only a few hundred years ago, and was simply modeled after older designs. If that's true, it wouldn't be especially rare. But if it really is ancient, its craftsmanship and context are unlike anything yet found in Norway. A shipwreck could settle the debate, but until then, the axe remains a beautiful mystery. Number 8. The Bimaran casket and the unknown Buddha. James Lewis, a British East India Company soldier, lived a double life in the 1800s. Under the alias Charles Masson, he explored Afghanistan and made one of the century's most debated archaeological finds, the Bimaran casket. Though often described as a reliquary, it likely never held human remains. What it did contain, however, were coins bearing the name of Indo-Scythian ruler Aziz Turkin, whose very existence is still questioned. Some scholars argue that Aziz Turkin never existed and was actually Aziz I returning to power. That alone makes the coins controversial, but the real debate centers on the artwork engraved on the casket. The depictions of the Buddha are unlike any others from that period, clothed differently and shown in an unusual posture. Some believe they are the earliest surviving images of the Buddha. While most archaeologists accept the artifact's age, the combination of disputed coinage and the strange iconography has led many historians to treat it with caution. Authentic or not, it challenges what we thought we knew. Number 7. Göbekli Tepe Vulture Stone. Roughly 13,000 years ago, something triggered a dramatic cooling event on Earth known as the Younger Dryas. Scientists have long believed it may have been caused by a comet strike, with supporting evidence found in Greenland's ice cores. In 2017, researchers from the University of Edinburgh proposed that a record of this impact might be preserved on one of the pillars at Göbekli Tepe. Known as the Vulture Stone, the pillar features animal carvings and celestial symbols that appear to mark a catastrophic event. The stone was erected around 10,950 BCE, the same time as the suspected comet. If the theory is right, then these carvings could represent humanity's earliest attempt to record a big natural disaster. The cooling that followed forced early communities to gather, settle, and begin cultivating crops, laying the groundwork for modern civilization. Whether the carvings depict an actual comet or not is still debated. But if the interpretation holds, this stone may be the oldest known record of a mass extinction-level event. Number 6. Ancient Sumerian astrolabe in Nineveh. Long before telescopes or mechanical clocks, ancient civilizations used simpler tools to track the skies and seasons. Among the most sophisticated examples is a star calendar found in the library of King Ashurbanipal in Nineveh, Iraq. The library, dating back around 2,650 years, was a vault of Babylonian knowledge carved into clay and stone. This particular artifact is a flat circular tablet inscribed in cuneiform, listing Babylonian months alongside key stars and constellations. Scholars believe it blends lunar and solar elements to calculate the beginning of each new year, which would have coincided with the spring equinox. Though only a fragment, it still shows how detailed and precise Babylonian astronomy was. Many of the constellations noted on the tablet are the same ones known today, proof that their skywatching shaped Greek astronomy and later Western systems. The disk isn't just a calendar, it's a record of continuity. Thousands of years later, we still follow stars first tracked by those ancient scribes. We're still far behind. Number 5. The oldest Enigma machine. The Germans put enormous faith in their Enigma machines during World War II, believing them uncrackable. What they didn't know was that British mathematician Alan Turing and his team had broken the code in 1941. As the war neared its end, the Germans tried to destroy the machines, tossing them overboard from ships and U-boats to avoid Allied capture. One of those discarded devices, the M522, was recovered in the 1990s by a fisherman in Flensburg Fjord off the coast of Jutland. It was later displayed at Copenhagen's Post and Telemuseum. In 2016, after analyzing its serial number, researchers confirmed it as the oldest surviving Enigma machine in the world. The first models were developed in 1932, and while this unit wasn't made that exact year, it was in operation well before the war erupted. Its survival is astonishing, not just because of the odds, but because it was meant to vanish. What was once used to keep secrets is now a silent witness to how those secrets failed. What do you think about this creepy Nazi stuff? Number 4. Skull mask of a Tibetan shaman. Across ancient civilizations, mystics and shamans were often seen as the bridge between the living and the unknown. In Tibet, one such figure wore a mask that remains unlike anything else. Created sometime in the 13th or 14th century, it was made from a real human skull. The craftsmanship is astonishing. It's lined with brass, plated with copper and gold, and inlaid with coral and silver. The top of the skull is carved with intricate designs, each cut likely taking days. It's believed the shaman who owned it kept more than one in case of loss or damage, indicating how essential the mask was to his rituals. As for what it symbolized, scholars can only guess. One theory is that wearing the skull allowed the shaman to connect with the spirit world or channel the deceased's energy. Whatever the meaning, the mask wasn't meant to intimidate, it was meant to transform. The wearer didn't just conceal their face, they stepped into another realm entirely. Number 3. Ancient fish trap in Alaska. Living on Alaska's Kodiak Island has never been easy. Even now, the climate is cold and harsh, and survival often depends on fishing. Centuries ago, the indigenous people of the region came up with a more efficient way to catch fish. No bait, no hooks, no waiting. In 2017, archaeologists from the Aluti Q Museum identified a stone-built fish trap system dating back roughly 2,000 years. It consists of two coral-shaped pools outlined by low stone walls. During high tide, salmon could swim in easily, but once the tide went out, the walls kept them from swimming back. It's an ingenious passive form of fishing that lets people catch large quantities of fish without wasting energy. Better yet, it didn't require constant supervision. The trap could be reused across generations and was likely rebuilt many times over the centuries, possibly up until the early 1900s. It's a reminder that innovation didn't always come from tools or weapons. Sometimes it came from watching the tides and working with Mother Nature. Number 2. The Viking graveyard of Lindholm Huje. We've already looked at stone circles, but Lindholm Huje near Nørresundby, Denmark is something else entirely. While it does contain circles, the site also includes lines, patterns, and arrangements shaped like longboats. It isn't an ancient calendar or a ritual site, it's a vast Viking-era cemetery. More than 700 burials have been recorded here. The first graves date back to the 4th century before the Viking Age officially began and continued until the early 10th century when burials suddenly stopped. From the hillside you can see modern-day Aalborg, but when the last body was buried, there was nothing here but empty landscape. The ship-shaped stone outlines may have symbolized the vessels the Vikings used in life and in death. Some researchers believe these stones replaced real ships during funerals, especially when large fires were found near them. The site remains one of the largest and most detailed burial grounds of its kind in Scandinavia, offering a direct link to the beliefs and traditions of those long gone. Number 1. The Jordan Lead Codices. Claiming to own Jesus Christ's personal journals is about as bold as it gets, but that's the claim tied to these ancient books. Found in a Jordanian cave in 2015, the 2,000-year-old lead codices have been under intense examination ever since. Researchers believe no one touched them from the day they were sealed until the day they were uncovered. They were exposed by a flash flood that revealed 2 hidden niches, one marked with a menorah. Each of the 70 small books is made of lead and copper, bound by wire, and inscribed in ancient Hebrew. Some of the text appears to be encrypted. A piece of leather inside one book has been carbon dated to the time of Christ. That's confirmed. What's unclear is whether the books are truly his diaries. Well, regardless, they're the oldest known Christian writings predating the epistles of St. Paul. Whether they belong to Jesus or not, these mysterious books are now part of the timeline of Christianity, and that alone is historic. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.